Hello and welcome to Moving Forward. I'm your host, Rachel Salyer. Are you a fan of sushi? If so, you'll want to stay tuned. Today on Moving Forward, we'll look into how the current methods of catching fish may make sushi too rare and expensive for everyone to enjoy in just a matter of years. Later this episode, we'll speak with University of Akron professor Dr. Elizabeth Erickson about the specifics of overfishing. But first, with us now is Vincent Peone via Skype. Vincent recently directed a short film that creatively portrays the effects of commercial overfishing called The Story of Sushi. Thank you so much for being with us today. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent. First off, for someone who maybe hasn't seen the video, The Story of Sushi yet, can you tell us what it's about?
Sure. The Story of Sushi is it's a sort of a little bit of a journey using miniatures into telling a viewer sort of about the issues and the dangers of overfishing in sort of a storybook kind of way, in a way that sort of takes you, through these sort of unusual and interesting places. I guess that's a good way to start it.
And how did you first get involved in this project?
Well, I'm a director. I live in New York City, and I work on commercials, and I also work for a comedy company, a comedy website called collegehumor.com. And so, my network has sort of expanded that way. And I was asked by a friend of mine, Joe Sabia, who I've worked with on numerous commercials and projects before, if I was interested in doing something with miniatures, because it was sort of a new thing for me. And I was a little on the fence about it because it wasn't what I was expecting the direction I would take, But then I took one look at the girls involved who were making the miniatures, and I said, absolutely, this is something I want to be a part of.
What's it like directing a video made of all miniatures? How do you even go about that?
I would say it's a little bit more technical than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Just like figuring out how your camera is going to move within such a small space. You're not really so much barking at actors like I'm used to, but you're talking to your art team and your crew, and sort of making the logistics work of having the storyboards come into the frame, the image. So it was sort of an unusual journey for me, but I think it paid off.
And how does the movement work? How much of it is stop motion versus wires moving things? How does that work?
Zero stop motion.
Oh, wow.
The entire thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess there was one shot where we sort of just added in a couple of little figurines at a table. But outside of that, we sort of from the get-go had decided that when we were in talks about this project that we wanted the camera to be such a character, and that was going to be most of the movement. So what ended up happening was we sort of used the camera as sort of a transitional element that would bring us from piece to piece, and everything that you see moving within the shot is actually a practical moving object.
And this video has gotten a lot of national recognition on NPR and Huffington Post. What's that like?
Great, yeah, great. I mean, I'm not really much of a stranger to making a viral video because that's sort of what I do at work at College
Mm-hmm.
Humor. But I am a stranger to making a viral video with a message this strong. I tend to make comedy videos, and sometimes they have relevance in social and political landscapes. But I think in this case, particularly, this was a video that was designed to be, impressive and and to relay a message, a very powerful message. So I think by that design, it's definitely a new kind of endeavor for me to make a video, that carries such a weight to it, and also traffics so well as Story of Sushi did. So that was really cool.
And how much did you actually know about sustainability and overfishing before this got started, or was this all new to you too?
Totally new to me. I mean, I'm a big, I love sushi. I'm a big fan of it. So, I hadn't really done my homework, and this video was very eye-opening. And sort of immediately following the video, there was a little while there where I sort of was missing the message, and then I started to actually look at the numbers, and that's what woke me up. It's like, whoa, we're going to be commercially fished out. Like, that's insane to me. Like, it started to make sort of my my goals in the project changed. Like I first just wanted to make a beautiful video using miniatures and getting to work with these, Lori Nix and Kathleen Gerber, these fantastic model makers. And then it sort of became something about something bigger, which to me was like, oh wow, okay, this is kind of something important. I should be working on this for my grandkids' sake. I mean, sushi could potentially be like a far too expensive delicacy for my grandkids to like enjoy like I do. So that to me was pretty profound. I had that revelation.
So who else did you work with on this project? And Lori Nix, was it like working with all these different people?
Amazing. I mean, I think the real heroes are Lori Nix and Kathleen Gerber, who they put together these miniatures painstakingly over the course of 5 months. And Lori, getting to know her and becoming better acquainted with her, I've come to find that she's she's world renowned. I mean, her work is up in galleries in Italy and all over the world, and she has pretty big art shows, and this was something kind of a new avenue for me to sort of get to know her. I was like, wow, I didn't realize that you had such a huge body of work. So that was really cool. And we've since, I'm happy to announce, we since formed sort of a collective where we're making videos like The Story of Sushi, and we call ourselves 4-Story Treehouse. So that's been a really fun sort of undertaking. So the collective is Lori Nix, Kathleen Gerber, myself, and my friend who brought the project to me in the first place, Joe Sabia. And he was really great. He wrote the script, working closely with Bamboo Sushi, the restaurant who the video is for, and its owner, Christopher Lofgren. And together those two kind of pounded out sort of an initial concept, and then brought me on board to actually start to make moves to film it and to create a story out of it.
And so why exactly did they decide to do the video in miniatures? Like, what was the artistic decision behind that?
Well, that's the brilliance of Joe Sabia. I think it was really the right way to go because, I think from the get-go, like they were throwing around ideas that were not quite miniatures, but they wanted to make it kind of cute and storybooky. And then I think when Joe sort of stumbled upon Lori Nix, he was like, okay, this is exactly what we need to be doing. These guys are great. We're gonna team them up with Vince, my director friend, and we're gonna make something hopefully people will respond to.
Why do you think it's important to educate people on sustainability?
Well, you've got to start now because we're getting a little bit risky. I mean, I was really impressed that people did respond to this the way they did. Adweek did a print article about it, and in addition to their site, their digital format, and Daily What picked it up, like you said, NPR, Vimeo. I just thought it was, I mean, I love that people respect the issue so much, and I think I'm really proud to have been a part of that because it's, it is important, and the year 2046, the oceans will be commercially fished out. Like that's a crazy figure, that I learned along the way, and that I think people should know too, because there is something to be done about it if you start now. Change is sort of a big thing and happens very slowly. So it's I'm just glad that the video reached as many people as it did, and I hope that the awareness is spread, as quickly as the video did.
And what do you hope that this video will accomplish long term?
Long term, I hope more restaurants like Bamboo Sushi will become the norm. Smaller boats, less bycatch. My hope is that the video will sort of spark some sort of change in awareness of how people buy sushi, how people eat sushi, because I feel like, big picture wise, there is a way to sustain the ecosystem, and there is a way to enjoy sushi. And I think that it does come at a cost, but I think that it's, when you weigh them, the cost is just, it makes so much more sense.
And you are having such a successful career with this video and College Humor. What advice would you give to other young filmmakers hoping to make it the way you have?
I think largely, this is a business of personality, and I think if your likability level, your individuality as a brand is successful. You really get places because of friends. I remember going through college and thinking, when I get out of college, I really want to be like Bryan Singer or David Fincher, and I want to work with those guys. Those guys are going to love me. And I haven't met either of them yet, but I realized along the way coming up that it's actually the people who were sitting right next to me in class that, sort of would help to define my career. And the people that I was surrounding myself with and the friendships that I had made in that time when we were sort of all very, very hungry and struggling. So I think that the best advice I could give is, one, you have to really want to do it, and two, you have to be a decent person.
Well, very good. Vince, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing many more great things from you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
If you're just joining us, we just spoke with Vincent Peone, director of The Story of Sushi. Before we speak with our next guest, Dr. Erickson, let's check out the short film.